All right, ladies and gentlemen, and random people in the void, welcome back to the DBD tier list. We are your hosts, I think, for the for for this tier list. Last we left off, I don't know what killer were we ranking again? I don't remember her name.
I don't either. I had something about a merchant, and I can care less about her.
Ooh, does she sell soap bars?
She probably needs to. I don't know what that means either. Before we get started, guys, let me just tell you again, I'm still having mic woes. To be fair, we're back to back recording, so
Yeah,
that.
we're definitely not recording one after the other.
Yeah, not at all. But
This is actually a week after we're doing this weekly.
yes, we are. But anyways, my mic is still acting up. So if it acts up during the stream or during the podcast, I apologize. But yeah, we left off on the Skull Merchant, and we gave her a very deserving D only because she's hot. So to to, to recap, we've got so far. You want to go ahead and read off? So who we got so far?
We've got the goaded unknown in S tier, and then Vecna leading the charge in high A, Chucky in the middle, and Hux in last in A tier. And then haven't had any killers in B. Xenomorph is at C, unfortunately. Poor cat dog. And then we have the killer who shall not be named from this point on in D.
Correct. All right, and so that leads us to our next killer, who is who?
Uh horror something. I forgot what his name was, but the knight.
The Knight. Oh gosh. So yeah, what can I say about the Knight that's not already been said? Um,
He has armor and he has a big sword.
really big sword. Hey, maybe he's actually Pyramid Head with just armor.
Does that imply that he's stronger? I mean, he's carrying that thing. Granted, he's kind of using his shoulder to like take a lot of the weight from the blade, but he's not
Yeah,
dragging it on the ground.
that's true. Maybe he just wants to get out of the shadow of having a freaking road cone on your head. you know, I don't know. But anyway, so the Knight. What do you think about the Knight, Arson?
I played him a lot when he came out.
Mm,
He was not. He isn't exactly a killer that's grandiose, because he has his little crew that he's
yeah.
running with. And this would have been a big thing, except it's really not because you got the Nemesis over there with his zombies, and I guess if you want to get technical about it, you also have the twins, which are separate entities that can be in the map. But in terms of NPCs, yeah, Nemesis already broke the mold with that,
Yeah.
and I mean, you could target these more directly. They don't wander aimlessly like the zombies do, which I guess earns some points. But aside from that, they just they aren't exactly fantastic at chasing survivors. There's one of his crew that does, which is the assassin, I believe.
Hmm.
Um, they
He's
each
the
do
one that
unique
goes
things.
dang near through anything, right?
The jailer chases the longest. The assassin chases faster, and the brute just breaks things like pallets
Right.
generators way faster. Um, you kind of have to manage your resources and know what you're kind of doing to apply pressure to the survivors. There's a lot different killers that are greater in that aspect. They don't just alone by themselves. They don't need the help of your motley crew to get things done. But playing as him is fine. I don't have any huge complaints. It's pretty good when you get a good knockdown with him when you work with your AI to cut him off or do some objectives to slow down the game. His cosmetics are great. Like
Oh my
especially
gosh.
lately, he has some of the best cosmetics in the game.
I agree.
And I mean, of course, it's he's a knight. Come on, knights are some of the most best looking characters in fiction, even in real life. I mean, come on, it's just
S-
really cool.
So let's get down to brass tacks though. What
Yeah,
about what about the survivor side?
survivor's side, depending on how the knight plays, can be awful or the best time of your life and the worst time for him.
So
Um,
the thing is about him is he is an anti-looping killer.
yeah,
You can say what you want, but he is. That's
he is
um
an anti-looping killer, but some people like to abuse this power to
yeah.
assist in camping.
Yeah. And that's the thing is what kills me with him is um like the person we talked about before, the knight uses his minions, is what I call them, his minions to camp like crazy. And granted, as long as you get to the hook and start the action of pulling someone off the hook before said minion gets to you, they disappear. A lot of people don't realize that. So, there are ways around that. I have taken the minions to save other people just to make sure they come to me, you know. Um and that to me is okay. I really I don't mind playing against the knight that much. We do get some really crappy knights. Um Shadow hates the knight. Shadow
I can tell.
absolutely hates.
I can tell.
Yeah. Um I've never played as him, so I don't know that aspect.
Yeah, he comes off as a flexible killer, but that's kind of anything but. It's a
Yeah.
little it's a little more complicated than that. You can decide what you want your knights or your crew to do, whether you want them to patrol a gen or just go off into a corner and see if check if somebody's there or not. There's a lot of things you can do with the minions, but the way people play is one of the main factors of where Knight truly goes in terms of gameplay
Yeah.
and in ranking.
So
So
where would
I'd
you put him?
say I would say he would be our first B tier killer.
You know what?
He isn't
I agree with that.
he isn't as bad as a lot of people make him out to be. Um, but unfortunately, with a lot of these killers, the way people play is going to lose a lot of respect and glamour for a lot of these guys.
Right.
But his lore is fine. The fact that him and his crew faced off an entire army and all that, and him backstabbing Vittorio, and then him coming into the realm and being like, "Oh yeah, I'm liking this."
Yeah.
But no, yeah, he's fine. He doesn't have a huge stake in a lot of things, but he is there, and it's fine.
Yeah. And I agree with you with the B. 100%. Mainly because I don't think he falls to that C category, but I also don't believe he's a material. I mean, I think he could be,
He
but
has the potential,
agreed.
but he lost it.
Agreed. Um, all right, so there we go. We're ranking the Knight as a B. So our next killer should need no introduction, and that's Wesker.
Albert Whiskers.
Albert Albert Whisker. Albert Whisker. Dang it, you just got me. Albert Wesker is from the one of the most beloved horror franchises of all time. And like I said, he needs no introduction. So, uh, Wesker's really fun to go against.
Oh yeah,
I love chasing him, especially one that doesn't really have that good a control over his dashing. like like I really like you can really run a Wesker pretty well.
he is
Um,
a very solid killer.
I agree. Uh, from making you infected to having to get that spray can and spray you off, some stuff. But Wesker, I think he struggles on some maps, but on other maps he thrives. Like that's like a lot of the killers.
Yeah,
Um,
unfortunately.
yeah, and I've tried playing him as killer maybe once, twice. Um, but he's difficult to learn. He's fun if you can get him down. I've seen people play as him, and he's a lot of fun. Now,
Easy to pick up and play, very hard to master. I think
right?
that fits his description perfectly.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going for right there, and you explained that pretty well. So
Yeah, you're welcome, man. That's
thank
why
you,
I'm
thank
here.
you, thank you, thank you. um, so Wesker to me is a fine line between 1 and 2 tiers. Um, but I want to get your what you think.
All right.
Where do you think he would fall on your tier list?
I I would say I have played him. At first, his hit animation is freaking weird. The way
Mm-hmm.
he brings the knife down from the left side
Yeah.
instead of just kind of swinging normally, it is weird. I got used to it. Just whatever. Um, his abilities are definitely fun. His
Right.
abilities are so much fun to use. There's nothing quite like grabbing that pesky survivor and
It's
flinging
also
them
the
into a tree or slamming them into a wall. you know, or even the rarest occasion where you do throw them into another survivor. I don't think there's anything that can describe the feeling you get when you do that.
yeah, like enjoyment, so much enjoyment. I would say.
Yeah, he is a fun killer. He unfortunately does not have that many cosmetics.
That,
I mean, he has his blighted look, and I think his first game appearance, his RPD uniform,
yeah.
or is it RPD or no? I thought it was no. His Stars uniform. My
His
my
Stars
bad.
uniform, yeah, from the first
Everybody just loves to think about Raccoon City because it was the huge high point in the franchise.
yeah.
But yeah, he's an interesting character. I'm thinking he is. I I hate to say it, he is what Nemesis should have been.
Okay.
I think he's what Nemesis should have been. I think I remember watching a video where a guy said that Wesker does feel like what Nemesis should have kind of played as, like
Hmm.
an unstoppable force just chasing you relentlessly. And for that, being on Wesker is fine because he's fast, power over Ouroboros, all that stuff. Um,
And he had some good
he has,
lines.
yeah, he has some good lines. Very cocky.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
His sunglasses, of course.
I love when you freaking hit him with the pallet and he drops his sunglasses. It's so great.
Ugh.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. And I know there's another thing that we haven't really taken into account, but the Moris, his Mori's pretty funny. Where where the survivor punches him in the face, and he just, he
Yeah.
repays in full by just killing you and then pulling out another pair, which is a very Albert Wesker thing to do.
Yeah. That dude has to have like 15 like pair of sunglasses per match on him. I'm just saying. I don't know where he
Like
puts
in
them all, but
terms
whatever.
in terms of style points, he very much nails it. His gameplay is extremely solid.
Hmm.
He's an interesting killer all around. I would I would give him a high A.
You know, I was actually thinking around A. Um, I wasn't 100% sure. I know he's not S tier.
No, no, he's
Uh,
not S tier, but I love him for being in the
yeah,
game. He is a breath of fresh air.
yeah. And of course, the fans of Resident Evil really love having him in there, anyways. But I'll go along with that A because I was thinking A or very very high B.
The
Um,
question is where on A does he belong? Does he
uh,
dethrone Vecna as top dog or is he below him? I'm thinking either he's above Vecna or he's in between
Chucky.
Chucky and Vecna.
I think that's probably right there. I think that's
Right
that's
below him?
good. I think right
I mean,
below
I'm just
Vecna.
saying because Wesker has been around a lot longer
Yeah.
than Vecna, so
Yeah, I mean well, yeah, but Vecna has really turned some heads. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
lately.
especially his game style, like his play style was like I don't know. Vecna's
It's the
toying with
dice.
the
You
entity,
can
you
you can
know?
just you can just say that it's the dice. It's the fact that you can finally roll your d20.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think the dice actually do play a part of
All
that.
right.
Like
All
oh,
right,
let me
facts.
just go back on Vecna for 1 second. I love the fact that you could teleport in and out of lockers. Granted, it takes a health state, but I think that's a really cool factor. You
I
know,
thought you were about to say, "Oh, I find it hilarious that you can get munched on by a mimic chest."
oh, that too. But all right,
But
so
yeah, okay, I can agree to that. Wesker
Vec.
below Vecna. I can agree to those terms.
All right, so that brings us to the dredge. Um, I want to start this one off mainly because when the Dredge first came out, and after Dredge is when I stopped playing PTB for a while. I played Dredge in the PTB against the Dredge, and I had no idea what was coming. I've actually got this clipped, and I was like lurking around a locker, and I was using Feng Min too, which was really weird. But he literally dragged me into the locker, and I'm like freaking out, like, what in the world just happened? You know, like it was one of the most like it was actually it scared me. It got me. Like I was freaking out, like, oh my gosh! And then I come out. I mean, we both pop out of the locker, and I'm on his shoulder, just carrying. Um, I think Vecna. I think the Dredge really has that scare factor, and we didn't see any of that after him, until
The
like
unknown.
until the unknown.
Which is
Um,
funny you mentioned that because I think they at the time when the unknown was at the place, that is actually the same place where the Dredge was born.
oh yeah, yeah,
So yeah, they're kind of connected, you know.
yeah. So here's the good parts, or I mean the bad parts about him. I do not like. I do not like the night, and I mean the
The
nighttime, like when
blackout.
it goes blackout, when it completely blacks out. I don't like that. It's crazy. Um, and I don't like certain things about the Dredge. A Dredge is a really fun killer to run as well. Can be. My biggest beef with him is Maurice. That was my biggest beef.
All right, he
I,
took poor Maurice.
he killed Maurice.
He came back. He
He
came
did
back.
come back, but we did get a pretty cool skin out of it for the Dredge. Um, but
Oh
still,
yeah, speaking of cosmetics, he definitely has the freakiest ones.
oh my gosh, dude! Like some of them are just absolutely out there. Like the Iron Maiden one is really cool. I really
Oh
like
yeah,
that one.
Iron
Uh,
Maiden one is the best.
yeah, but in my eyes, and I'll tell you where I think he belongs after you tell me a little bit what you think about him, and then we'll. That is, if you have anything else to say about him.
Oh yeah, I got some things to say.
Okay.
He is a very interesting anniversary killer.
Mm,
He came out during the anniversary, and people were expecting, oh, it's going to be a licensed character. It wasn't, and then people were disappointed. And but it didn't matter because one, his design is kick ass. Come on, you cannot look at this thing and tell me that you're not at least your knees are trembling a bit.
yeah.
Maybe a little quiver in your lip, an eye twitch or two. He is built on the personification and darkest fears or something like that of the people who were experimented on by Mr. Otto Stamper, I think. And we all know what happened to Otto Stamper. We'll get to that shortly, though,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
maybe another time. Uh, and the Dredge is interesting to me in the sense that up until you know the Demogorgon was like the first creature type of character. And then the Dredge came along, and man, I like his design. It's a very good design. His
Mhm.
gameplay loop it can be fun if you know what you're doing. Again, every killer you play as has to come with the expectation of you knowing what you're doing before you start up and killing people, which is a great thing that they finally added. AI matches so you can like test new killers
Yeah.
before you jump into a match
I do
and
like that.
be made a fool of yourself. But at the time, we didn't have that just yet, so judge players were just going in, and man, it was interesting. Going in, everything blacks out. You're like, well, guess we'll die, because I think what was it at the time? You couldn't see him, right? Or
Yeah.
could you see him? I
No, you
forgot.
couldn't. I'm pretty sure. Well, he's always had an aura, but
I know the survivors had their auras. You
yeah,
stuck out a lot. You could not hide
really bright.
unless you were hidden extremely well. Like 9 times out of 10, he will find you.
And if you're in a
And
locker, may the Lord help you.
yeah,
um,
he is a fun killer to go up against.
Uh,
I'd say lately it's been a little dead.
yeah.
Some Dredge players have a certain play style. Um, and that's fine. Whatever works for you, however you want to play him, you're the killer. Um, but as time went on, he's there.
Yeah.
He's still darkening the screen and killing people, and we love him for it.
Now
And
I'm gonna
that's all we really have to say about him.
I'm gonna say one last thing. I've had some amazing matches against him. And I've had some not so great. I mean, granted, we're all gonna get that, right? It's gonna go back and forth per killer.
It's inevitable.
It is. We're gonna get crappy people that play them, and we're gonna get awesome people that play them. We're gonna get ones that are, and I mean crappy by like their attitude, but then we're gonna get like very like unworthy people that are new to him that may be worthy one day, and then we got those ones that are like able to pick up Thor's hammer worthy because they're so good with them. you know, and because of that, you're going to be really surprised. I put him at a low S tier.
Really?
Yes, I do. Now,
You
where
want
you
to put him at low S?
I do. Now, it just depends on where you want to put him, and then we'll settle in the middle.
Okay. I will give some benefits here because I have not played him since then.
Yeah.
It's been, I think, a good year since I've played Dredge. I've new killers have been coming out, and as it seems so far, like some of these killers I definitely prefer playing compared to the Dredge, because with Dredge you have to go in with like a certain, again, with most killers you have to go in with a certain mindset.
Right.
Not everything is going to work the same way if you just play the same with a killer that you play one killer, then you play another killer playing that same play style. It's never going to work, not that
Right.
much at least. But I have not played Dredge that much after the fact that he came out, and I don't know what's been up with him lately. So I I will go with low S purely
Okay.
because Unknown is also up there, and I want them to be buddies.
Well, that's good enough for me. He is behind Unknown though, for sure. Um,
Yeah, no,
but
Unknown is better.
but I mean, like I may complain about facing, but I don't mind facing the Dredge. Like when you get a good Dredge, especially a Dredge is not hard to loop. Um, but a good Dredge will like throw down his little
Destroy you.
portal thing, and yeah, like that portal, that little teleport thing is great, because he could throw that down and then run you around and then go back. Is if you can see that coming, like whenever I run against him, when I see him throw a portal down, I'll act like I'm running over there, and then I'll run off to somewhere else.
Yeah, that
Like,
whole gameplay loop is truly a battle of wits.
yes, it is. So that being said, that's why between that and all the other factors I've been saying, I think he is a low S, and that's
I
all
can
I got to
respect it.
say about that. So, but with that being said, our next killer is actually our first licensed killer in a bit that we well, since Wesker, I guess, is Onryo.
Ah, yes. 7 days.
7 days to die. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's something different. Sorry.
Wrong game. What are you doing, man?
So, what do you think of the Onryo?
Well, okay. I don't know. I haven't brushed up on any of my Oreo lore.
Yeah,
Um, what I do know is that this is the original Sadako. This is
yeah,
not, this is not the American version or whatever. This is
right.
the original. The creepy one.
Japanese, the one from Japan.
Yes.
Not yeah, not the washed down version that was brought to America. So, get it washed
This is
down?
the
Well,
one with
no.
the insane psychic powers.
Yeah.
Could just murder you with a thought, but drags it out for 7 days.
So, you've played against her since they've done the rework, right? Or that since they've done the stuff
They reworked her.
they didn't rework her recently, but I'm talking about like when she pops through the TV and you're near it, it gives you that clear pip, and then you could clear those. But if you don't clear those and you get like 2 or 3 on you and she hooks you, they stay permanent. Have you played her
Oh,
since then?
I've no, I've not. Um, and I
It
probably never will because there's so many people that decide to play certain killers, and people never
yeah.
play Ornrio.
Yeah.
So
I'd say I'd get maybe her one out of every 25 matches, maybe. Maybe. So,
I'd say that she is. I have not. I've played her like once, one or
yeah.
two times, and I like this was at the time where she first came out, and I just liked playing new killers at the time. So even if I didn't know what I was doing, and I just got absolutely washed. I did not know what I was doing with her. Um, she's gotten some buffs since then, and I have
Yeah.
not played her then still. Um,
And that's the buff I'm talking about is that last one. Like
yeah,
she really did gain some strength on there, and she needed it because it didn't take much just to clear off all your pips, and she could never like her biggest thing is like if you fill out that whole thing and turn red, she could bore you. So, and I've
yeah.
seen it happen so many times.
There's
That's a
nothing
big
more
strength.
harrowing than seeing your bar go red, and
Yeah,
you
and
know she's coming for you.
she's looking. She's looking. Like 100%, she's looking.
There is nothing that could stop her except a pallet or a shack or a good loop, or
Yeah,
maybe a teammate sacrificing themselves for you. But that's rarely going to happen because
yeah,
she's going to be on you fast.
yeah. And she will hop through TVs to find you anywhere, wherever, whatever she has to do, she will do. And with the rework, with like actually like getting those pips and then getting hooked and making them permanent. At first, I was like, this is BS. But the more and more you think about it, it's like it makes sense because she became a weaker killer because of that, and because of what they did, that pulls her up in a tier ranking for me.
Yeah,
Um,
but let's talk about aesthetics first here.
okay,
Let me just. She has some pretty good cosmetics. I didn't think she was gonna get a blighted skin, but she did.
yeah.
Kind of weird. I think her latest skin, I forgot what the name was, but it looks really cool.
Is that the one where she's like partial skeleton?
Is it that one? I don't know,
I
but
don't know. It's on the blood web. I know that. I think it is.
even after all those cosmetics, I still think her original look unnerves me a lot.
Yeah.
All the characters in the game, this is the one that unnerves me when like I pull her up in the killer menu. And I have a little bit of a story to go with this. When she first came out, I was like, I was leveling her up, I was getting her perks or her skills, just getting some items.
Yeah.
And I think at this point everybody knows after a certain time when you sit in the menu,
Dang it!
she
You took my
will
story.
jump scare. Yeah, she will jump scare the freaking camera by putting her eye right up to it. And now that I know that this got Phoenix as well,
The
um,
first time, dude, it just like really got me.
yeah, no, I was talking to my friends, and I actually rotated her like for a second. I like had her to the side because I don't know. I was just rotating. I was like, I don't like her looking at me. I'm just gonna turn her this way. And then I look back for a split second. She's staring right at me, and all I could think about is what? And then bam! And oh my god!
Dude, it got me hardcore, like really bad. So yeah, I know your woes on that. Like it was
Yeah, that is.
amazing. That's the first time they did anything like that, really. Like there was no other killer that did that before her. Like
Yeah.
that,
Oh
not to my knowledge, at least.
no, she is one of the first that just straight up decides. You know what? Let's do a little trolling. And
All
you
right.
know what? Because of that, this is going to be a huge leap.
Oh gosh.
Because originally this seemed like a B tier character,
Yeah.
but I'm going to say low A.
So because of her partial rework and them doing what they did, I actually agree with you because it literally makes it a little bit more irritating. I'm actually like seeking out TVs more often now because I don't want to get hooked with it. So
Yeah, little jump scare really gave her brownie points.
yeah, yeah,
It's hard not to,
yeah,
She just has to be there.
yeah, and I agree with you on the low A. Um, behind Meatball Head for sure.
Yep, behind Meatball Head.
Sorry, I can't call him anything else. I just can't. I refuse. All right, so guys, we have hit that mark again. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna end this real quick, and we'll be back soon with another second part of our, or the third part of our tier rather. And yeah, just keep listening to it. If you're enjoying this, please leave a comment. Tell us what you're thinking of our tier list so far. Anybody on YouTube will be able to see our tier list as it goes. So that's the way it's going to be. Anybody else will have to, I mean, just keep track in your head. But yeah. So we're gonna drop this for now, and if you guys are interested in knowing more about our little band of misfits, just look in the description. We got our link in there. It takes you to all of our stuff for the From the Ashes needs. Go check it out and let us know what you think. On that note, I want to thank Arson for being here with me on the second part. I feel like we're going to do this again really soon. but yeah, guys, I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you have a great day, and we're out.
All this talk about meatballs. I could go for some Swedish ones.
Dude, you want to go?
All right, let's do it.
All right. See you guys later.